What's up, guys? Wiggy here, workingclassfitness.com. Not long ago, my buddy Alex asked me here on Facebook what the difference was between bodyweight training and lifting weights. You know, how should you approach them differently or what have you? And the answer is there really isn't any difference. There's obviously a difference in that, you know, bodyweight training, you're using your body as resistance. In weight training, you're lifting a barbell or dumbbells or what have you. But the principles don't change. You know, the same principles that are involved in getting you stronger or building speed or improving your conditioning or endurance or whatever won't change depending upon what type of implement you're using, or whether you're doing bodyweight training or weight training or lifting kettlebells or what have you. You know, if you think about a similar example yet different, if you wanted to go out and improve your aerobic capacity, the principles or the type of workout you would do wouldn't change depending upon if you were, let's say, you know, running on a track or running on a treadmill or using a Concept 2 rower or whatever. You know, the different tools or the actual, you know, activities themselves would change, but the principles behind improving your aerobic capacity wouldn't. Well, the same thing is true with bodyweight training. Now, you know, the principles, you know, what you should do, let's say, to get stronger won't change between lifting weights and doing bodyweight workouts. So, keeping that in mind, what you have to realize is what type of training is more appropriate, or what type of training can be molded more toward to suit the principles that you need to utilize in order to achieve the goals you want. Now, if you compare bodyweight training and lifting weights, while the principles that apply, because the principles don't apply to, you know, the type of training, you know, the lifting weights or the bodyweight training, or, you know, sandbags or kettlebells, whatever, they don't apply to those. They apply to the goals. So it would all depend upon what you're trying to do. Are you trying to, you know, build muscle? Are you trying to get stronger? Are you trying to get faster? That ends up being what's important, not what method you choose, because the principles are going to change based on what your goal is, not what type of training you're going to do. Because the type of training can be molded or can be adapted to the principle, but you got to have the principle in place first. We have to have the goal in place, figure that out, so that way you know what principles to use, and then once you know what principles you need to use, you can adapt or mold the actual training style to those principles themselves, so you can apply them correctly. Now, as far as molding the training, or molding, let's say, lifting weights versus molding bodyweight training, the difference ends up being there is you have to mold them differently. You know, if you want to build strength, let's say you've got to lift, you know, with a heavy weight. If you want to build size, you want to put on muscle, you got to do a little bit more volume, maybe lift with a little bit more moderate weight, depending upon what you're trying to do. Well, if you're in the gym and you're lifting weights, that's a really easy fix. The exercises can stay the same. All that has to change is the weight on the bar. You know, you can change your sets and your reps, but the weight on the bar changes, and that's quick. You know, slide a collar off, you know, slide plates off, slide them on, slide the collar back on, and you're done. And you can easily switch different types of principles. You know, you can take one exercise and switch it from one type of principle to another simply because of how much weight's on the bar. Now, bodyweight training, you can't really do that because the weight, i.e. your body, now we're not going to be using, or we won't discuss, you know, adding extra weight, you know, external resistance, because that's not always overly applicable in every scenario. But if you want to apply those principles, you have to take a look at what you're capable of with certain bodyweight exercises, and realize that if you want to apply those principles, instead of the weight changing, you know, with the weight training, what ends up being variable, what ends up changing is the amount of weight on the bar. Well, since you can't change how much you weigh, what's going to end up having to change will be the exercise, because on the weight training side, you stick with the same exercise, but you tailor the weight toward you being able to use it in a manner that allows you to apply the certain principles that you're looking to apply. With bodyweight training, what you're going to have to do is, if you have to apply those principles are pretty much always going to be rooted in, you know, let's say how much weight you have to lift or how much force you have to produce, you know, that sort of a thing. That's going to change. You're going to have to end up changing the exercise. So if we're comparing, let's say, push-ups versus, and push-up type exercises versus bench press, let's say 135 is really easy on the bench, so then you throw 185 and that's moderate, and then you throw 225 on there and that's heavy. Well, let's say on the push-up side, you can't do that. You can't change how much weight you weigh. So every time you get on the floor and do a push-up, you're going to be using the same, or you're going to be producing force against the same resistance, i.e. your body weight. So you end up having to change the exercise. So if you want an easy version, maybe you do it from your knees, or maybe you put your hands up on a bench so that you're doing it from a sort of a decline. And then if you want something that's moderate, maybe then you would go to a flat push-up. And then if you want something that's more difficult, you'll throw your feet up on a bench and go to an incline. That sort of a thing. When you want to go even harder on the weight training, maybe you go from 225 to 255, and that's really, really heavy. Well, on the body weight side, if you want to make it really, really hard, you go from incline push-ups to handstand push-ups, that sort of a thing. And so what ends up happening is you have to mold the exercises, and you have to go from exercise to exercise to exercise instead of changing how much weight's on the bar. So sometimes you end up having to think a little bit more generally. Like if you're talking about weight training, you might think about nothing but, let's say, horizontal pressing. That would all be bench pressing. Well, you may not have that luxury with body weight training because, beyond a certain point, you may have to progress beyond, let's say, incline push-ups to handstand push-ups, simply because that's the only version of a push-up that's difficult for you. On the flip side, let's say you are doing vertical pushing, and if you're weight training, you're doing overhead press, and let's say you're not that strong, you can lighten the weight down to a weight that you can use. Well, if you're doing body weight training and you want to do a vertical pressing, which would be like an overhead press motion, if you can't do handstand push-ups, then you simply just can't do vertical pressing. So you would have to find some really wild modified way, maybe a kind of like a half a dive bomber push-up or something like that. So you're kind of doing a weird version of a overhead press type motion or something else like that. But point being, in the end, the principles won't change between weight training and body weight training. The differences will be in weight training, the weight on the bar is what you can easily change. When you're doing body weight training, you're going to have to change the exercises you use so that they can you can apply the same principles in the same fashion to attain the same goals. So hopefully that helps out and kind of demystifies this whole thing. Body weight training isn't anything any different. And then again, this same type of thing would apply to kettlebells or dumbbells or sandbags or almost anything else you want. So hopefully that helps. That's it for this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like and share this video on Facebook. Tweet it out to all your followers on Twitter. And hit up the link that you'll see here in a second. You're going to get a link at the end of this video. Hit that link, enter in your email address, and I'll be sure to let you know when all the new YouTube videos come out. I'll send you a free sample of Working Class Fitness Killer MMA workouts. And I'll send you plenty of tips and advice on how to get stronger, build a lean physique, get fast, improve your conditioning, and get into fighting shape. Sound good? All right. We'll catch you in the next video. Train hard, rest hard, play hard.